All right. Good afternoon, English 2323 students. It's Mr. Welsh, and we're going to do a short lecture today talking about your midterm. Um, the last time we did a lecture, a video lecture, we had an incredible session where we talked about Blake, William Blake, songs of experience, songs of innocence, and how we tied it into the cosmological order of everything, and in all of it in regards to romanticism. So, we're going to simplify your final class. I mean, not your final, your midterm, because of where we are, what's going on with the pandemic. Now, so what I want to do is give you a little update, as I mentioned last time, on the schedule. I'm going to give you your midterm today, and it is going to be due on the 21st. So today's the 16th on a Friday. It's going to be due on Wednesday. It's typed, the format will be typed, it'll be double spaced. When you turn it in class, once again, it will look like this according to the course policies and calendar, essay layout. I'll also show you once again in regards to correct essay format. If I haven't given you that under handouts, I will. But basically, 12-point type class, once again, proper margins. Up here you'll have your name, you'll have finally have the class, and then you will answer your questions. So I'll give you that today. By tonight that will be posted Friday night, and then you will hand it in on Wednesday. All right? So the memo for the midterm, and I'll read that to you now, says that as discussed, and this will come to you in your handouts today, by tonight, I'm given an updated schedule for the midterm. By end of today, which is Friday, I'll post a video lecture that talks about the process, and that's what I'm doing right here, class, for you. Your midterm will follow up on the in-depth video lecture I gave regarding William Blake. So that was the last lecture that I gave on William Blake and Romanticism. So we're going to make that your midterm to simplify. In essence, you will answer 2 short essay questions following the essay preparation section on our syllabus. And here are the questions. It tells us class, London by William Blake appears on page 141 in your text, class, as we continue our discussion of Blake. In your Norton anthology, your exam consists of 2 short essay questions regarding this poem. Now, so I want you to think about these questions. I'm going to post this. What does London represent to the speaker? How do the persons who live there contribute to the poem's idea about the state of humanity? So when I say I want you to, once again, 2 short essay questions, a short essay class that you want to do could be for each of these maybe 400 words for one, 400 for the other. Short essays, but you need to make sure and develop your thesis for each question enough so you answer it and give enough details, and you want to quote from the poem itself. Number 2, the poem appeared in Songs of Experience published in 1794. Explain the appropriateness of Blake's including the poem in a collection so named. Okay. You will turn in your midterm through Blackboard messages on October 21st. So, class, let me read this poem to you, London by William Blake, page 141 in your text. I wander through each chartered street near where the charted Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness and marks of woe, In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plague the marriage hearse. All right. So that's the poem. And then when you read it, class, make sure that you look at all the annotations underneath of it where they define some of the terms and deal with some of the arcane sentiments. So that's it. That's your midterm. Okay. And so answer this from the best of your ability, and I'll lecture a little once again on some notes with some notes I have, class. And then I'll let you get all this stuff today and tonight, and then you'll turn it in on Wednesday, class. One of the main themes of London is alienation. Alienation. It is both Blake's own personal expression we see in his observation that people in the world at large are feeling similarly estranged from the city and world in which they live. So in some ways, class, we see the timelessness of this poem, because it's happening today. Alienation continues today, okay, in some aspects. In some ways we're very connected. In some ways men and women, of course, feel alienated. As a liberal of his time, like Thomas Paine, William Goodwin, and Mary Wollstonecraft, Blake was against the established order of Britain in the old European monarchy system. He describes the depressed urban population in London with their marks of weakness, marks of woe. Blake views these people as imprisoned not only by poverty but by thought, where he talks about the mind-forged manacles. So we talked about that historical aspect of the Romantic period. We talked about the political aspect. We talked about urbanization. We talked about, once again, industry and the industrialization of the society, how it was changing from those agrarian ways. Class. The backdrop of London is the early phase of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, the Industrial Revolution. The rural laboring class was increasingly moving or being made to move by the owners of land to the cities to work in the new factories. All right. Blake's focus on these urban issues is unusual in comparison with the other poets of his time. So he's dealing with, once again, the Industrial Revolution. He's dealing with factories, such as Wordsworth, whose poem Composed Upon Westminster Bridge was a markedly different, even idealized view of, once again, contemporary life in the revolution, in the Industrial Revolution, class. London is a 16-line poem composed of 4 stanzas of alternately rhyming short lines. London is included, once again, as we've seen, in the Songs of Experience section of William Blake's larger work, Songs of Experience and Songs of Innocence, and contributes to Blake's portrait of fallen human nature. So, Songs of Innocence we talked about last time. Man's fallen nature. And then once again that searching for Transcendence class. Blake focuses his attention on the condition of London, England, the capital not only of the country but also of culture, quote unquote. Yet class. As the four stanzas make abundantly clear, Blake does not share the opinion that the city sets a positive example. Each stanza of London points out the ways in which the British monarchy and English laws cause human suffering. All right? Human suffering. The narrator comments that everywhere he looks, he sees unhappiness and people suffering. So, things change, things remain the same in some ways, in some aspects. There's certainly suffering going on right now in the world. Maybe not quite the intense suffering of, this is the Industrial Revolution where kids were working 16 hours a day. We've come a long way, class. The second stanza reports what the narrator hears as he walks these imprisoning avenues, human cries of anguish and fear. Not only does he find this suffering in individual memory, but Blake also says that the legal dictates he hears carry with them threats to human freedom. He concludes the second stanza by equating laws with mind-forged manacles, strictures that limit the human imagination, the human heart, and the human soul. So, being imprisoned in a way. So, class, once again, London on 141, and your questions, when you answer them, answer from your heart, and make sure that, of course, they will be typed when you turn them into me. Note that they're short essay questions. Note that I'm giving you this ahead of time. Normally, the students wouldn't know these questions ahead of time. But we are doing this as an online class. We're doing it during a crisis class, once again. A crisis in our society that we're going to get through. And be thinking of this, once again, this weekend. What does London represent to the speaker? So answer that for me, class. And then in your answers, always when you're dealing with literature and you're dealing with a class, quote from the text. Quote from the text. If you can, it always helps. You make a point, back it up with text from the actual poem. How do the persons who live there contribute to the poem's idea and the state of humanity? Class, that's question number 1. The poem appeared in Songs of Experience, question number 2, published in 1794. Explain the appropriateness of Blake's including the poem in a collection so named. So, class, you'll answer that for me too as your second question. Short answer, but make sure it's a long enough essay that you can answer that for me because it is the midterm with enough details. Songs of Experience, the appropriateness of Blake's including the poem in a collection so named. And then I'll let you roll with that. So class, very good. So you will have this by tonight, this midterm memo. You're going to have this video. I'll post this evening. And you'll have everything ready to go for your midterm. Class, I want to let you know we had a wonderful live session today where some of your associates came on. We'll continue to have those through the semester. It was very productive today. For an hour and 15 minutes, student asked me questions. I helped students. I worked with students during this crisis, during this pandemic, and it was a wonderful live session today. So with that said, class, once again on Friday, you will have this all posted and ready to go tonight. Certainly by midnight, this will be all posted. And then we'll be looking forward to getting your midterms turned in by Wednesday, the 21st. Okay, class, very good. And of course, if you have any questions, you can ask them through Blackboard messages. I'm here, and I will certainly get back to you. Class, with that said, I hope you stay safe and well, that your family's safe and well, and good luck once again. I'll let the cat here wants to get out. I'll let you out, Marlo. Class, good luck preparing for this midterm, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye now.